Hello everyone, this is Lakshmi Hattioli, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, KLS VDIT, Haliyal. I welcome you all for the lab demo series on Highway and Concrete Laboratory with the subject code 18CVL58. So, this laboratory you will be studying in this fifth semester, which is having a lab code of 18CVL58. Uh, Today, let's just check out the introduction of this laboratory, what all it covers, and what's the importance of studying this laboratory, and what are the contents covered. Okay, so module 1 basically covers cement, types of cement, physical properties, properties, and field test, and so on. Module 2 covers types of concrete. Module 3 covers types of self-compacting concrete. So self-compacting concrete is one of the newly introduced concept to you all. So these are the things, three modules which are covered in part A, and part B actually covers about highway materials, test on highway materials. That is module 1 from part B covers test on aggregates. Module 2 from part B covers test on bitumen, and module 3 from part B covers test on soil. So basically you will be testing cement, concrete, aggregate, soil, self-compacting concrete, bitumen, and so on. So all these building materials, you are supposed to check the physical properties as per the Indian Standard Code. So as I said, module 1 basically covers cement and concrete types. Now before I go to the introduction of module 1, let's just study why we are supposed to study this laboratory. What are the importance of each experiments? See, basically this laboratory helps you to understand the physical properties of any material which you use in the building construction. It may be road or any building. Okay, and before you use any building material in any construction, you should make sure that the physical or chemical properties of that material should be well within the standards as provided in Indian Standard Code Book, that is IS Code Book of respective experiment. So you should ensure that it should have a proper durability, strength, so that it will not affect your structure in a later way. Okay, so before using any building material, you should make sure all the physical properties are well within the standard limits. So that's the main importance of this laboratory. So as I said, module 1 basically covers test on cement. Okay, so test on cement, basically you have some physical properties such as normal consistency, setting time of cement. Let me take the pointer. Setting time of cement, compressive strength, fineness by air permeability test, and specific gravity test. See, basically you have a variety of cements available in market, right? You have different properties and different types of cement available. So you need to know all the applications and physical properties of each cement, so that you will understand the very application of each sample of cement. Okay, that's the main important. So see, laboratory test, you have n number of physical tests on cement, but field test on cement is also very important property. Now, in the sense, when a cement sample of cement is given to you, you need to check out physical properties of that cement. Just oral look or the oral touch on the cement which will make you understand whether the cement is of good quality or no. So, how to check that? You have some field test. When you open a cement bag, okay, have a good look at it, and there should not be any visible lumps. Okay, so that means the cement should not be already mixed with moisture, so there should not be any lumps inside the cement, and the color of the cement should be normally greenish gray. So it should have a uniform color of greenish gray. And thrust your hand into the cement bag, that is, dip your hand inside the cement bag, and it must give you a cool feeling. Okay, there should not be any lumps inside the cement. Take a pinch of cement and just rub it with the help of your fingers. Okay, and it should give you a very smooth and not a gritty feeling. Okay, so when you'll be rubbing it, so you should have that very smooth touch between the in the cement fine powder. Okay, this is another field test. And another field test is, take a handful amount of cement and just throw it in a bucket full of water. Okay, and the particles of the cement should float for some time at the initial stage. Later those particles should sink. So if you observe these kinds of properties in the field test, then you should make sure that the cement is of good quality. Okay, so these are the few field tests which you can carry out, rather getting that sample to the field and testing the for physical properties. So this can be done anytime. So laboratory test, these are few of the physical properties like standard consistency, setting time, soundness, fineness, and strength of the cement. These are few of the physical properties of the cement. Now let's study what exactly is the history of cement. Okay, so when I say Portland cement, what exactly is the meaning of Portland cement? See, cement is basically a binding material, right? So it binds all the aggregates in one place. That's why we call it as a binder. First cementing materials were used in Egypt. Okay, so basically cementing materials were used by Egyptians. Portland cement was developed in England by bricklayer Joseph Asphodin in early 1800 years ago. Okay, and we use the word usually Portland, right? So that's because concrete made with it resembles the natural stones which are available in the Portland, and that's why we call it as a Portland cement. Okay, so this is the history behind the cement. And in India it's not a newer version, right? So very in a very right from the beginning years we are using this. So in India, Portland cement was first manufactured in 1904 by South Indian Industries. Okay, so let's see the general chemical compositions of cement. So before I go for the general physical compositions, we have seen three types of cement in my initial slides which are available in the market, that is 33 grade cement, 43 grade cement, and 53 grade cement. Okay, so now what exactly is 33 grade cement, 43 and 53 grade cement? See, 33 grade cement meaning is after the 28 days, okay, once the mortar cube is casted, after the 28 days curing, once if you do the compressive strength test check, okay, so once if you check that compressive strength, you should get for 33 grade cement minimum strength as 33 megapascal. It's the minimum strength 33 megapascal. That's why we call it as a 33 grade cement. And similarly for 43 OPC 43 grade cement, that is ordinary Portland cement, for 43 grade, the minimum compressive strength at 28 days you should get it as 43 megapascal or 43 Newton per mm square. Similarly, OPC 53 grade cement, it is you should get 28 days strength, that is curing period, you should get as 53 megapascal strength, minimum strength. Okay, and we are actually producing 63 grade cement also, but it's not available in market yet, but it is still in the research. So now let's just check out the general chemical compositions of cement. See, cement basically is nothing but a lime. See, when I say it's a binder, it should definitely contain CaO, right? So that is basically a binder. So lime is around 60 to 67 percentage. Silica is around 17 to 25 percentage. And even just because of this, even in very early stages, we used to use mud as a binder, right? So before the using the word cement, before the production of cement, we used to use the natural mud as a binding material. That's because even the soil has silica, so that makes it a binder. Okay, and the chemical composition of cement, it also has alumina, that is Al2O3, that is 3 to 8 percentage, and we have iron oxide, magnesium oxide, and few amount of alkalis, and yes, of course, some amount of gypsum as well. So this is about physical properties. Next, we shall check what are the different Box compounds. So we have learned about Box compound in concrete technology. See, Box compound, in the sense, when you add water to the cement, it undergoes some reaction, right? So the cement undergoes reaction when you add water to it. So those reactions, once the reaction has been started inside the cement, it starts producing some type of compounds, okay? Because we have studied the different chemical compositions of the cement. So those compounds react with water, and they in turn start producing some different compounds. So those have been termed as Box compound, right? So Box compound as tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate, tricalcium aluminate, and tetracalcium aluminoferrate. So if you're doing research on cement or any replacement for cement, one should know what are the different Box compound and what are its properties, and which compound is produced first and at which stage. So that knowledge one should have compulsorily. See, basically tricalcium silicate, that is C3S, we abbreviate it as C3S. It hydrates rapidly, okay, and provides the very early strength and the ultimate strength as well. And dicalcium silicate, that is we call it as a C2S, it hydrates very slowly, and it is actually the major responsible compound for the later stage strength. Okay, and next is tricalcium aluminate, that is C3A. This hydrates rapidly and provides the early strength and less ultimate strength. Next is tetracalcium aluminoferrate, that is C4AF. It is not responsible for any type of strength, but it is stable than C3A. Okay, so these are the few Box compounds you need to understand. Next, we'll go for types of cement. So basically there are two types. One is OPC cement, one is blended cement. Okay, so of course in these days OPC cement, we are concentrating much on blended cement, because OPC, we are seeing many amount of pollutions because of OPC in the production of cement. So now blended cement is taking a gear. So basically OPC, as we have already discussed, we have three types in OPC for different grades, that is 33, 43 and 53 grade cement. Now this has been differentiated based on the 28 day strength, and we have rapid hardening cement, extra rapid hardening cement, sulfate resisting, quick setting, expansive cement, and few of the other types of cement. So we'll just quickly check out what are the applications of these types of cement and what exactly is blended cement. Blended cement, see, blended, the word itself indicates here cement is mixed with some of the other pozzolanic materials. Okay, so such type of cement we call it as the blended cement or a Portland pozzolana cement. So some percentage of the cement is mixed with some of the other materials which is having same binding properties. So the best example is fly ash. Okay, so such type of cement we call it as a blended cement, that is PPC or Portland slag cement or super sulfate cement. So whatever we have studied types of cement in the early slide, now we shall just check out what are the applications of those types of cement. So we have studied OPC cement, that is 43, 53 and 33 grade of cement. Based on their strength they have been classified, and they are used for the general all type of constructions, depending on type of structure which you are constructing. Depending on that or the loading criteria, you should choose your different grades of cement. You have rapid hardening cement, in the sense it acquires very early strength, rapid hardening cement. Okay, and even you have extra rapid hardening cement available in the market. which we also call it as quick strength cement. So which very in the early stage it gains the strength. And we have these two are usually used in the marine structures. We have quick setting cement, underwater constructions. Okay, so that is with a chemical composition as Al2SO4. Okay, so this has been designated as Al2SO4. Next we have sulfate resisting cement, that is it is also used for underwater construction, just to prevent the sulfate attack, that is for the sulfate resistance. And we have low heat cement because we know that, see, when a cement is mixed with water, it undergoes reaction and heat is liberated. So if your construction is very huge, then the amount of cement which you use is also in a huge amount, right? So a very huge amount of heat is liberated. So liberation of heat will also gives rise to many more cracks, right? So to avoid that, we use low heat cement, especially in a very large area of construction. So this is just to reduce the risk of thermal cracking. Okay. For the very best example is in case of dams and all. Okay. Then we have high alumina content cement under seawater construction. This the main use is under seawater construction. Okay, and is more workable for very high strength, high compressive strength. For very higher grade of concrete, you can go for high alumina content cement. And we have hydrophobic cement, which is used in a very high rainfall area. Okay, that means it absorbs water. That's why it is used in very high rainfall area. And we have white cement, and even we have also colored cement available in the market. No, so this can be used for a decorative purpose. See, white cement we usually use it for filling up the joints, tiles, and finishing works. Colored cement is usually used for the decorative purpose. Okay, so these are the applications of blended cement. So previously we have seen the applications of pozzolana cement, ordinary Portland cement. Now we'll see the applications of blended cement. So as I have already introduced the blended cement word, that is some percentage of cement is mixed with the pozzolanic materials, right? So first one is Portland pozzolana cement, that is we call it as the PPC, or characteristics is low heat cement, because see, when you're using some amount of different material which is having a pozzolanic action, so amount of cement content is reduced, so that's why you can say it as a low heat cement. Okay, so this can be used in the hydraulic structures. Next is Portland slag cement. This is also a low heat hydration cement, and this is used in marine and off-seashore structures like docks and harbors. Next you have sulfate, supersulfate resisting cement, which is again used to resist the sulfate attack, especially in the hydraulic structures. So these are the types of blended cement and its application. So I hope now the difference has been exactly clear to you all. That is the difference between OPC and blended cement, Portland pozzolana, Portland cement and the blended cement, and the different grades of cement as well. So let's just differentiate between the physical properties and chemical properties of the cement. So these are the list of physical properties, and these tests will be doing it on our regular laboratory also. That is normal consistency, setting time, soundness, fineness, compressive strength, heat of hydration, and specific gravity. So chemical composition, as we have already studied few of the properties, the Box compounds, all these three are the Box compounds. Next, oxides, alkalis, free lime, and alumina content. So these are the properties of Box compound. See, if one is doing research on cement or any replacement of cement, one should know the application or the properties of Box compound. Okay, so see C3A, that's one of the Box compound. What happens if C3A is less? So less C3A makes the cement sulfate resistant. C3A does not provide any amount of strength, and heat liberated by C3A is about 1350 joules per gram. Okay, and tricalcium silicate, that is C3S, what it does, it actually causes rapid hydration in the cement, and it's responsible for early strength. Okay, and dicalcium silicate, that is C2S, it helps in the strength gain after 1 week of the casting. Okay, and heat liberated is around 260 joules per gram. So these are the few other applications of other compounds. Okay, so tetracalcium aluminophorate, it basically acts as a fluxing agent, as a nothing but a flux. Okay, and magnesia, that is MgO, little amount of magnesia in the cement provides the strength, and of course in a very excess quantity it makes the cement unsound and expansive and hence leads to cracks. So it should be in a limit. And you have different oxides like sulfur trioxide and iron oxide. Excess amount of sulfur trioxide will make the cement unsound, and iron oxide is mainly responsible for the color in the cement. And we have some other compounds like alkalis, free lime, and alumina. See, alumina, it quickens the setting but weakens the cement. So if you are using a very high amount of alumina, then cement simply sets very quickly, but it weakens the compressive strength or decreases the compressive strength. And alkalis, large amount of alkalis can cause difficulties in setting time of cement. Okay, so it should be in the well within the standard limits. Even free lime can cause some excess expansion and hence leads to cracks. So these are about the different chemical composition and its application and properties. So this is the IS requirement for the compressive strength for different grades of cement. As I said, in market you'll get 33 grade cement, 43 grade cement, and 53 grade cement. So this is a table with the IS code showing what's the requirement. So you can see for 3 days, 7 days, 28 days curing. So what is the respective compressive strength requirement, and these are in actually Newton per mm square or megapascal. So you can see 33 grade cement for 28 days minimum it should be 33 megapascal. Similarly for 43 grade cement 28 days curing it should be 43 megapascal. Similarly for 53 grade cement 28 days curing it should be 53 megapascal strength. Okay, so these are the few of the properties of the cement which are available in the market. Okay, so to summarize today's introduction class, today we have learned the importance of this concrete highway and concrete laboratory, which are the contents covered in this laboratory, and we have seen the introduction of module 1, that is part A. See, part A basically covered the module 1. We have seen what exactly is cement, what is the history of cement, types of cement available in the market and its applications, physical properties and chemical properties of the cement, and we have also studied field test on cement. Okay, and also make sure that uh, when you are dumping the cement bags in one place, okay, we usually place the older cements at the top level and the fresh cements at the bottom, so that the moisture content which reaches the cement bag, that has to be avoided and we avoid the lumps formation. Okay, so we go on reversing the order while placing the cement bags. Okay, so that's all for this today's session. Thank you.